hot topic, ideas. So what's very common for most IELTS students, or a lot of IELTS students, is that they either have too many ideas or their mind goes blank. Now, if your mind goes blank, this video is going to be extremely valuable to you, because I'll just show you how I managed to overcome this problem as well when I was helping other students to prepare, and I managed to get it down to a system, and now I can do it super fast and with very, very little difficulty. And you can also learn this skill if you go over to the course www.sentenceguide.com. But let's get started, and I'll just show you, I'll give you a glance on how we can do this. So most of the time, 2 simple ideas is enough. Let's go. In many countries, people tend to move overseas or move to a different part of their country after their retirement. Discuss why it is so and the outcomes of this situation. Let's go. So, discuss why it is so. That would be so let's just analyze this question. Discuss why it is so. Clause 1. Paragraph 1. Why do people move abroad? Okay. For better weather, because if they're older, their health might be in jeopardy, or their health might be more important or more fragile. Better weather will help them will help them feel better because of the sun, especially for older students with arthritis. So roughly, those are my ideas for paragraph 1. The outcomes of this situation. I could talk about the country, or I could talk about the people. I'm just going to talk about the people, okay? I'm just going to say it's probably more expensive for the older person to move abroad. However, one can only imagine as a person becomes older, wealth becomes less important and their health supersedes these concerns. Okay, I'd probably rephrase that sentence because it's a little bit ugly, but that would be the gist of the argument. Okay, so why is it so? Because if they move abroad to a warmer climate, their health is greatly improved, and as they get older, health becomes more fragile. Body paragraph 1, body paragraph 2, the outcomes. Better health, possibly better health, less wealth, but this doesn't matter because health is more important the older you get. Okay, not the strongest essay, but it's fine. It's logical. Some people prefer to use energy-saving modes of transportation like hybrid cars and bicycles. Others prefer the usual mode of transportation like buses and trains because it's fast and efficient. Which modes do you prefer and why? Use specific. Okay then. So it's putting the emphasis on me, but I don't want to write an essay entirely about me because it's going to be full of personal pronouns, my personal examples and my friends and my family, and it's not going to sound academic. So what I need to do is depersonalize, neutralize this, and make it sound as academic as possible without ignoring the question. So let's see. Paragraph 1. Let's see. I'm going to talk about this because it mentioned it. It could be a distraction, but I'm going to mention it anyway. Hybrid cars are more common. There's lots of advantages, and so this is basically how I structure the essay. The more common, lots of advantages, especially with bicycles because you can go a lot further and faster. Without consuming personal energy. I personally think that these are a great invention and would love to see more of them. Actually, I wouldn't say I'd love to see it. I personally think that these are a fantastic invention, and one can expect to see more of these throughout society as time progresses. Okay, so I just kind of did slightly touch on it, and then I'll say because it's asking me why I prefer them, so I'll just to do a contrast, I'll say, unlike buses, I'll just say other forms of transport, such as buses, trains, planes, and cars, could be argued as antiquated and old-fashioned. These belong to an older era, which were invented before the advancements in technology were made. Buses are extremely dangerous and are uncomfortable for most passengers. Personally, I strongly dislike buses and cannot imagine the longevity lasting much longer, full stop. Okay, I mean, these are just clunky sentences, of course, and this is like my plan. Afterwards, I would reorganize the sentences and make them sound much more eloquent, but these are the ideas, okay? And this would get me full marks because I'm talking about my preferences, and I'm giving reasons, and I'm giving examples, and the details as well. Okay, so that's fine, and I'm also trying to depersonalize it as much as possible. Let's carry on. Low price airlines lack most of the conveniences of normal airplane flights. However, the prices of the tickets are usually lower. Discuss negative and positive aspects of lower rates of airplane tickets for travelers. Examples and specific reasons, blah blah blah. Easy, easy, easy. Paragraph 1. The advantages of low flight air tickets, of low priced air tickets, cheaper, can go on more frequent travel, and also bring economic benefits to the community receiving the tourists. Okay, for example, a recent study showed that people are more likely to travel if the ticket is reduced by 30%. Okay. Paragraph 2, the disadvantages. What are the disadvantages? Well, that you are usually herded like a cow into the plane. You usually have as much space as a sardine. Of course, I wouldn't talk like this, but I'd just say typically companies offering low price flights usually cut out on added extras such as headphones, in-flight meals, so you could possibly go hungry during the flight, blah blah blah. For example, the recent study. Okay, and then the conclusion: many advantages and disadvantages. Personally, the disadvantages far outweigh the advantages, and hopefully this type of travel will be outlawed in the future. Okay, a bit of a strong opinion at the end there, but it doesn't matter because I backed up both points of views with strong examples, and I answered all the requirements of the question. Okay, last 2. Is it good for families if parents need to travel a lot in their job, or if they need to move to other cities? Is moving to a new location positive for children? How are we going to do this one? Well, we're going to divide it up. This is going to be paragraph 1. This is going to be paragraph 2. Okay, so basically here we're talking about commuting and the need to move to other cities. I'm just going to focus on commuting, okay, and slightly ignore this one, okay, because I've only got 250 words. If I cover everything, it's just going to get really, really difficult. So I'll just say, I won't totally ignore it. I'll touch on it and try and merge them together, actually. So I'd just say, in a modern society, okay, done my introduction, now I'll start body paragraph 1. In a modern society, it is increasingly common for long commuting distances, even moving to other cities, or even moving to cities far away from their hometown. This is an extremely dangerous trend because it has untold negative psychological impacts for the families. Okay, so untold negative psychological impacts. Basically, is it good for families? No, it's not, because of these untold negative psychological impacts for the family. A recent study showed that families with with parents that commute more than 2 hours a day often are at a much higher risk of falling apart than families with parents who work from home. Okay, therefore, commuting and displacement or or long distance displacement is a serious negative trend. Okay, can you see how we're touching on this question? Number 2 is body paragraph number 2. Is moving to a new location positive for children? It is. I could say it has positives and negatives, but I'm not going to do that because it's just going to confuse the examiner. I'm going to stick with my original argument and say it's completely negative because the children have to make new friends. They have to start exploring, and all of this is time spent. Is energy wasted when they could be learning more valuable skills such as foreign language acquisition, or deepening relationships with existing friends. A recent study showed blah blah blah. Okay, to conclude, this is a terrible idea of moving and commuting, and there are serious negative effects and should be avoided at all costs. Okay, it's a very drastic opinion, I agree, but it doesn't matter, because what does matter is that it's crystal clear and the examiner has no doubt on my position, and this is a clearly communicated, coherent argument. That's what we're going to get points for, not if my argument is factually correct or if it's insanely intelligent. It doesn't matter. It just has to be strong and coherent. Final question. Better driver education and information for better driving habits are better. Oh my God. How many times do we have to say better? Are better than heavier punishments for driving offences. To what extent do you agree or disagree? I completely agree, because better education means safer roads. For example, body paragraph number 2. Better. Okay. Better habits. Correct the problem before it even occurs. A recent study in Australia showed this. Blah blah blah. Okay, very easy. Totally agree. One-sided opinion all the way through. Clear, coherent arguments. And I used examples and reasons. Okay, so these are my ideas. This is how I would go about getting my Band 9 for my IELTS Writing Test 2 essay. Okay, now if you want this report or this ebook with all of these IELTS questions covering pretty much all the topics, then go to IELTSPodcast.com and you can sign up, and there I'll show you the link now. And you can get this ebook completely free. Okay, just leave your email address, and it's got lots of tutorials in there. It's got 240 questions. Okay, very cool book. And after that, you can get your essay corrected, which I'd strongly recommend, and you can do that here. And then you might even want to do the online course. Okay, my name is Ben Worthington. Thank you very much for watching this video. And remember, you're not alone in this. You can get help. We will help you to pass IELTS. Have a fantastic day.